Hi there, my name is Andrea Caprio. I guess by now you should know me. I am so grateful and so delighted about the summit. The speaker talks were absolutely amazing, and I cannot thank enough everybody who participated. My team on one, and of course the speakers, and you for showing up, for signing up, for getting the VIP access package. Whatever it is, thank you for being there, and thank you for taking really the step to improve your own health, to improve your cravings, emotional eating, whatever it is. I hope you really went through all the talks, you downloaded maybe the gifts from the speakers. There's so much useful information and tools there. And if you haven't had time to go through, remember there's always the VIP access. The details are down here on the page. Remember, it's available for just a short time at a really special price. So today what I want to do is give you a little bit some background about me, but also I want kind of to wrap it up. It's difficult to do, I must say, after these wonderful speakers, but I want to wrap it up in giving you the food freedom formula, right? Now, doing the Food Freedom Festival is based on the way I'm working, which is the Food Freedom formula. And I will share this with you today. And I will share with you also in a kind of workshop style how you can implement that in your life. So please take out your notebook. Oh, by the way, if you don't have the workbook that came with the summit, you get that normally on the main summit page. You can download it. There is a workbook where hopefully you took note every day of what you want to implement, your feedback or your takeaways, and there were also a couple of exercises there. So maybe you've done them. If not, it's a good time to do that now because I will use it a little bit later. So you definitely want to have it handy. So in case, just stop and get it here. Right. So first of all, a little bit about myself. Well, you probably realized I have an accent. I'm German. I'm from Munich. Very proud of being Bavarian and from Munich. But I haven't lived there very much. In my childhood, yes, but then in my early adulthood, I moved all over the place. I worked in Club Med for 5 years all over the world almost. I lived in Kenya. I lived in South Africa, total 20 years. Then we lived in Miami. We lived in Portugal. And at the moment, we are in Italy. So pretty international, right? And what I really am about is I love to learn. I love to meet new cultures. I speak 5 languages, some better, some worse, but yeah, I'm at 5 languages now at the moment. I'm actively learning Italian. My husband is Italian. I have 2 adult children. I have 2 cats, which I love and adore. And I like to have fun and travel and learn new things and grow, really. The other thing I'm really passionate about is to help people. Right. And probably you guessed that by being here, seeing what I have put together with my team is I'm doing that not just for fun. Yes, I love doing it, but I really am on a mission to help people. And that happened many years ago. I was in another business, right? I had my own business. I was completely different than now. And I had started to have health issues. So I had migraines, almost weekly migraines. I had always bloating. I was really, really tired. I thought I had fatigue syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome. I had hormonal issues with plenty of fibroids that I had to remove. And I had some weight issues as well. And I really felt my health is getting worse. And I thought always, I'm eating quite okay, everything is okay. Anyway, long story short, I came across a really amazing detox, which by the way, I use now with my clients. I've improved it a little bit. And I used that, I participated in that detox. It was a really nourishing detox, nothing like cutting out or whatever, really healthy way of eating. I learned to love smoothies in the detox. I still eat or drink rather smoothies every morning except on the weekend. And I went through that. It was a 3 weeks detox, and I felt so much better. It was crazy. I mean, I could not believe it. And I did it again a little bit later just to find out if that really is the thing. And I realized it really is the thing. The food made me feel better. Because what I realized is that I have been eating too much sugar, right? Because I've never thought that I eat so much sugar. And I realized I had sugar cravings, but they kind of creeped in slowly, right? I had the sugar in the coffee, I had some sweet thing like morning cereals or so where there was plenty of sugar. I had a snack, some cookies, biscuits, chocolate. Lunch I had maybe a dessert, and then in the evening I was eating a little bit too many cookies, right? I had also a little bit too many glasses of wine and so on, and it kind of added all together. And during that detox I stopped all that, and that's what made me feel better, right? Plus other things, my digestive system had time to repair and so on, and I felt better. And that was the moment where I realized the importance and the power of nutrition. Facebook is a funny thing, right? I'm not a huge fan always, but at that time there was an ad that was in my front. I probably must have Googled something, I have no idea. But that ad was for a school that teaches nutrition. I did a research, I really researched 60 schools actually, 60 different institutions and universities and so on. And I decided on one where I studied to become a certified transformational nutrition coach and further a master certified transformational nutrition coach, where I did a lot of specialization. So I specialized in digestive health, in hormonal health, autoimmune diseases, weight issues, and also emotional eating and mental health and diabetes and a couple of other things. So at that time, I decided I wanted to help other people, because seeing how much that improved my own health, I said, hey, there's really something about that. I want to learn more. I want to help other people. And that was the start, right? And I'm remembering this. I built my company Wellness Methods. I initially worked locally in Miami, and eventually I went online, and I work only online now. And even though I'm traveling, I work mostly overseas, right? So most of my clients are actually in America. I'm only working with English-speaking people, or mostly, let's say. Have a couple of other clients elsewhere, but mostly is actually the US. And I'm fully online. I have my one-on-one coaching business where I help people to overcome emotional eating, cravings, weight issues, and any related chronic conditions. And I also have a group coaching program, which I'm so excited about, because I'm going to have a new group coaching program very soon. And a little in this year, I'm gonna share some news with you soon, so watch out a little bit later than that. We are at the moment still full in the summit, but a surprise is coming up. And I also have a membership that's really great. So I have different ways of working with my clients to help them to overcome cravings, emotional eating, address any weight issues they might have, or weight struggles rather. A lot of my clients have been struggling a long time losing weight, and they've tried every diet, and when they start working with me, then they start losing. And I have clients that lose 20, 30, 50 pounds depending where they are. And so yes, I'm working this way. So that was a little bit an introduction and background about me, why I believe in food freedom, right? Because the answer is not about a diet or something like that. It's about finding the right way to address whatever your issues you have. And that's what I want to share with you, is my food freedom formula. And it has my 5 R steps, right? R like in the letter R. So I just tell you those, and then I will go in each so you can take note of it and use them in your own health, right? So first of all, it's is recognize the root cause, then reset the body's healing abilities, repair the root cause or causes, relearn healthy habits, and rewire the mindset. Now, the important part here is they all need to be together, right? I believe in personalized nutrition, and I believe in a holistic approach and looking at root causes and addressing them. The Western medicine in general is so much putting a band-aid on, right? A pill here, a diet there, an operation there, or whatever. And what I really believe is looking at the root cause. And throughout the talks in the Food Freedom Festival, you've seen, right, all the experts also, they always look at what is the root cause. physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is, and looking at this and of course addressing it, right? So let's start with the first R, recognize the root cause. So at that stage, it's normally when I start working with my clients, I put my Sherlock Holmes cup on and I really look into why do they have the issue. So some of my clients have bloating, some have cravings or emotional eating, or they have weight issues or whatever it is. I always look at why is it, when did it start? Just, to look at. So when we know when it started or maybe how it is related to other things, we can find a little bit more the root cause. So it might be when somebody has bloating, for example, it could be that of course, we know there are some stomach issues or some digestive issues, but it could be going back that there is not enough stomach acid. When we don't have enough stomach acid, the body is not able to digest, or rather the stomach is not able actually, to pre-digest the food so well, so we can later on digest it in the small intestines and then absorb. Right, when this is happening, that can lead to bloating, right? Because we have undigested food lingering in our small intestines, that could lead to bloating. This could also lead to food intolerances, which could be a cause of bloating. So the stomach acid might have led to food intolerances if we have too little, right? So you see already how these things work together. So it's really important to get to the root cause, and often we have to dig a little bit deeper. So I'm really passionate about that, and I have a very thorough health assessment with my clients that I use, which can pinpoint these things to help them, and then of course to find out what else might be related. So always important to look at the at the physical root causes. So when we have cravings, very often I find the root cause for cravings that lie also in the gut health. I'm passionate about the gut health, by the way. I have two specialization about digestive health, so I believe it's the basis of all health. So for example, we want to look in cravings at the gut. When we have an imbalance of gut bacteria, we have good gut bacteria and we have bad gut bacteria, and there are trillions, right? Really a lot. Now when we have too many bad gut bacteria because maybe we had a diet too high in sugars, carbohydrates, processed foods, etc., these little guys, they thrive on this, right? And when you kind of try to get rid of your cravings or to reduce your cravings, what happens is normally those guys say, hey, no, I want the sugary stuff, right? And that send signals to your brain, bring in the sugar. And remember, sugar is not only sugar, it can also be carbohydrates. Your body sees it as sugar. And that's what sends the signal to your brain, cravings, right? And that's what you understand as cravings, and that's where the cravings come from, right? So you want to get really down to the bottom, literally speaking, right, pun intended, what the root cause is. Same, your hormones, right? Your hormones are so interlinked, all the hormones together, but also to the gut or to the liver. I'm going to get to that just now, but you want really to find out what's going on there. So I highly recommend, if you have some health issues, weight issues, or emotional eating and craving, you want probably to find out what that is, and most likely you need a little bit of help there. So I highly recommend you, to work with a specialist, one of the speakers of our summit, of course myself as well, or somebody else, right? But you want somebody who looks at the root cause, because otherwise you will continue dieting or throwing a pill at the problem or whatever it is for the rest of your life. Because once your body is able, once you're able to see what the root cause is, then later we can heal, right? We can address it. I'm gonna get there, right? Now, I've spoken about the physical root cause, but there's also the emotional root cause and the spiritual root cause. Remember, I said we are really looking into it from a holistic approach. Now, the emotional root cause or spiritual as well are very often rooted in our belief system, in our subconscious. Very often we have had in our childhood or in the past some trauma, and trauma doesn't need to be a big thing, right? It can be a so-called smaller thing, but it depends how our subconscious works through the trauma, and if we have developed a limiting or false belief from the trauma or from something that happened in our childhood. So sometimes it is that, in our childhood, we've heard things like, oh, in our family, everybody is fat. Or maybe somebody or has said to you, or you've heard it and you remember it, and you have that belief that you're not worthy, or you're not lovable, or you're never going to succeed in your life, or whatever it is. And by the way, I see often people who succeed very well in their lives, like in business and so on, but do poorly in some other areas, such as emotional eating. I work with a lot of very successful people together, and often I see that pattern because they have been told often in their childhood, they will never get there, and they had to work extra hard. So they got super successful in their business to the detrimental of their health and cravings, right? So they developed then a lot of stress because they work so hard, and that led then maybe to stress eating or so. So you see how that can relate together. So super important to understand. So you want to maybe sit down and journal a little bit and think a little bit more about when did this all start, right? So a very good idea is to ask yourself, when did your health issues start, or when did those beliefs start, right? And maybe go back and then working on this again with maybe some help or so, you can then address them later on. So good idea, as I said, is to ask is, when did your health, weight, craving issues start? And what else has been going on during or just before the time in your life? And that's one of the questions, by the way, I ask my clients when I start working with them. And I want to invite you probably to pause this video and maybe write it down and just say, what was going on there whatever issue started, right? And you will find often a lot of answers there, right? Let me drink some water. By the way, this is an invitation, because one of the root causes is as well, when we have cravings, is maybe we're just thirsty, right? Or maybe we're missing something, a purpose in our life, right? So we want to look as well into these areas. So if we are craving constantly, maybe in the evening, a lot of people are lonely in the evening, or bored, or, feel alone or something like that. They're so busy in the day, and then they eat, right? So maybe it's just, finding what this loneliness, missing purpose is, and then, you can of course work on this. Right, and I would love to know from you in the comments, maybe share there, what's your root cause, or what do you think it might be a root cause? I would love to know some feedback here in the comments. Just scroll down and there's somewhere the comment section, or put it also in your workbook. Right, then the next point is to reset the body, or your body's healing abilities. So I mentioned earlier to you how I reset my own body with a detox, I mentioned, right? And that was for me really a very big point, and that I learned only later when I studied, actually, that when you do a detox or some other way of resetting your body after, not doing so well, let's say, after eating unhealthy, after not caring about your body, after not practicing self-care and tender loving care and all this, your body sometimes needs a reset, right, before it actually can heal. So often I see also that people try to heal maybe their hormones with, supplements or whatever it is, right? But they try to lose weight, but they don't, right? And things don't improve, because this is basically because the body has not reset itself and it cannot heal. So before actually addressing the root causes, which would be my next step, we need first of all to reset so the body then can heal. And as I mentioned, that often I do with a detox. And this is a really, really healthy detox I do with my clients, nourishing. It also uses a 3-phase system where it allows the toxin to go from fat. Toxin are fat soluble, so it transforms them from fat soluble to water soluble, And then eventually in that process, it allows it to eliminate, through our body's fluids, right? That can be through the urine, can be through transpiration, etc. And through that process, basically the toxins are removed in a good process from the liver. Important to follow this 3-phase steps, which, by the way, part of some of my programs, I offer this detox, of course, that really allows it to do an efficient and safe process. Because if you are not doing the process fully with the right foods and maybe with the right supplements, the toxins kind of get loose, but they stay in the body. And then they become actually really, really dangerous to you. And they kind of become radical toxins, right? So you don't want that. So you want really to go through that process. The liver is an organ which is amazing. It's one of our most important organs, of course. And I guess you know that. But what maybe you don't know is how much the liver works with other organs or with other systems in the body together. And one is, for example, the liver is part, of course, of the digestive health. So if the liver is sluggish, things kind of can't go through anymore. You can imagine it like a pipe that's blocked. But also the liver is responsible for our neurotransmitters and our hormones. So if the liver is sluggish, our hormones might suffer, and that often can lead to hormone imbalances. So it might be if you're suffering from PMS or if you have PCOS or some other hormonal issues. And remember, it's not only kind of the sexual hormones like the estrogen or so, but it can also be, for example, our adrenals, cortisol, right? It can be our thyroid. It can affect our hunger and satiety hormones, ghrelin and leptin, respectively, and our melatonin hormone, which is responsible for our sleep. So if the liver is not working well, these can all be affected. And that might be the reason why maybe you don't sleep so well. It might be the reason why you have a thyroid issue, or why you have cravings, right? Because if the hunger and satiety hormones are not working properly because of all that, then we have more cravings. And by finding out, or by addressing this, and goes back probably finding it out is first, obviously, is what I mentioned in the first, recognize the root cause, but we definitely want to reset the body so it allows for healing. The other thing to understand is that the toxins, being fat soluble, they kind of nest also in the fat. And until they are loose, often we cannot lose the fat, right? Because it kind of holds on to it. It's comfortable there, right? Doesn't want to lose it. So that's often might be a reason why you don't lose the fat, right? And just by doing, resetting your liver, your body's ability to process all the toxins, you are then able to heal. Right, so that was number 2. I'm losing myself here. Reset the body's healing abilities. And as I said, they all are fitting together. Now let's go to the next one, repair the root cause. Now the root cause is, I mentioned so much about it already. So for example, I just want to go back and to give you one sample, because I don't know your root causes, right? But I want to give you a sample, what I mentioned earlier. Let's assume we found out that you have not enough stomach acid. And by the way, stomach acid is something that we lose as we go, as we get older. And often low stomach acid is, by the way, a root cause of GERD or acid reflux. Just saying, in case you're interested in. So when we find out we don't have enough stomach acid, I have one of my programs, by the way, I share a very simple test how to do that. It's a super easy test you can do at home. Not scientifically proven, but gives a good idea to find out about the stomach acid. If you're interested, just send me a message. I'm happy to share that with you. So if you are realizing you don't have, then you can simply improve your stomach acid over time by adding either lemon water or apple cider vinegar, like 1 spoon, to your water before an hour, half an hour to an hour before you eat. And that can increase your stomach acid. And that then will allow to your food to be pre-digested or digested better by your stomach, and allows better absorption further down in the small intestines. Now, important here is also to repair the root cause of that is to eat more mindfully, right? If you are like most of us, and I plead guilty here, I'm also not perfect on it. I'm sometimes eating too fast and not mindfully. But whenever somebody is eating mindlessly, often we are in this fight and flight state. The stomach acid can actually not increase. And that might give issues further down the road, right? Pun intended, of course. So you want maybe to look a little bit more just into eating more mindfully, chewing a little bit more, being more aware of what you're eating, taking time. Ideally, we should take 20 minutes, because if we eat too fast, our stomach has actually not the time to register that it's full, and it will ask for more food. That's when we overeat, right, usually. So these are things you really want to do and look in. You want maybe to add some herbs that help with your digestion or so, and you want to address your lifestyle. Do, for example, maybe some stress management, or improve your sleep, or add exercise, or whatever it is, right? So you want really to look into repairing whatever the root cause is. So again, you want to find somebody who helps you. As I mentioned earlier, some of the speakers are specialized in these things, and they will definitely help you. So do contact them or sign up with their gifts or so. And of course, please do feel free to contact me if you are interested in that one, because after all, that's my specialty, right? Now, right, so the root causes are physical, biochemical, emotional, spiritual, can be anything, can be, you want really to address also if you had trauma in your life, you might have to address that. You might need therapy, or you might need to practice forgiveness, or address that with some deeper works or so. If it's spiritual, you might want to look to find a purpose, right? What missing purpose are you? So what is a purpose you could do? Maybe take up a hobby. You might want to learn to practice self-care. I work a lot with women, and as women, normally we are the giver, right? And a lot of women don't practice self-care. So you want maybe just to practice more self-care or self-love, right? I see so many people who don't love themselves, or don't have a high self-esteem or so. So working on these root causes, right, will help you to overcome them, right? And then next one is relearn healthy habits. When I talk, I always need to drink. And you should drink too, because one of the habits is to drink water, right? Learning to drink water, or learning to implement new habits, better habits, or improve your habits, whatever it is, or also learning to remove a bad habit, right? An unwanted habit. I don't like the word bad actually, but an unwanted habit, that is something I am so passionate about helping my clients with, and I want to help you here a little bit. So first of all, there is no such thing of willpower. I hear a lot of people say, oh, but I don't have willpower. Willpower, I always say, you have a bag with coins of willpower, and you have only that many of it, and eventually the bag is empty. So don't count on your willpower. Additionally, often willpower is linked to self-sabotage and limiting beliefs. So often we kind of self-sabotage when we believe we will never get there, or when we believe we will be actually successful if we get there, and that's scary. So you don't want to count on that, but on habits. The first thing for habits is planning them, getting clear on your goal and planning your habits. And when you do that, start small. Please start small. Read the book Tiny Habits, for example, or some others that helps you. But do not, if you have never done sports, right, and you want to start exercising, don't start with every day trying to do an hour of exercise. You are most likely gonna fail, right? So it's better to say maybe just 5 minutes every day, right? But make it that every day you put out your sports shoes and you do the 5 minutes at whatever set time. Set yourself an alarm, or a very good idea is also to combine an existing habit with a new one. Remember when you learned brushing your teeth, right? That was when you were a child, I guess. And probably you were reminded over and over and over. And now you do it automatically. You don't think about it. So you want to do that with other habits. And a good idea is to combine a new habit with an existing habit. So if you want to start, let's say, meditating, a good idea is to say each time I brush my teeth, I meditate 3 minutes or 1 minute. Just start shortly. Meditation doesn't need to be complicated. And please, one thing, speaking of meditation, I know we spoke in one of the talks about it, but it's not about not thinking, right? Or just being in the zone. It's meditating is just doing it, right? It's realizing that you think about other things is meditating. You're right. It's not about not thinking about other things. I think about plenty of other things, and I've been meditating every day for years. So that is how you relearn healthy habits. But the other thing that also is important is to get accountability. And that's why I believe coaching is such an important part. You can get an own accountability partner, of course, a friend, a partner or so. But in coaching and in my group coaching program, that's something I'm really big on. You know, we have, for example, I have food tracking. So I keep people accountable by tracking food. I give them feedback or so. So this is helping to make a habit staying and becoming, a long-term habit. There are several studies that say 3 weeks or 3 months, you need to really learn a habit and to have it ingrained in your brain. No matter if it's 3 weeks or 3 months, as I said, there are different studies, so whatever it is, it's somewhere in between there probably, and we all are different. So in between there, you need that time, so you want that accountability and really, getting into it with some help probably. Right. Now, I want to know from you the number one habit or the one habit that you can implement and that you can write down now. Maybe stop the video and write it down in the comments and write it down in your workbook. Because when you write it down and when you share it with somebody, it's so much more powerful. It becomes a 92% success when you write it down and when you share it. There's a study that was done. I know so many studies, but that was an interesting one. I was quite impressed about it. So please write it down in the comments because you're more likely to actually do that. So if you want to start drinking more water, or if you want to start cutting out sugar, or implementing, eating more vegetables or whatever it is, write one habit, a small little tiny habit, and write it down and start doing it. And then next week do another one, and next week do another one, and so on. Right, let's go to the 5th step. We are almost done here with my 5 R-step food freedom formula. And the last one is rewire the mindset. And that's probably what I'm most passionate about. And I want you to take out now the little workbook because the summit is here about what are you really craving, right? So I put together this workbook to help you find out what are you really craving. Right, and you can do it, of course, in your own time. But I thought it's a nice idea to do it here, with us here together, right? And you can write it down and do that, because when you know what you're really craving, then you don't have to crave food, because of course it's never the food that you're craving, right? You think you're craving the food, you think you're hungry, but you're not when you are craving something, right? I work also with my clients, of really differentiating, and by getting to know more, listen more to your cues of your body, you can differentiate between a physical hunger and an emotional or spiritual hunger, right? Right, so let's go into that. What are you really craving? So the first thing is honestly state what you want in your life that you don't have and that you really, really want, right? So the first step is to dig deep and understand what you're craving and really want in your life. So it's time to be courageous and be honest about it, right? So find a quiet place if you're not there already and open up your heart and try hearing your own truths, right? What it is really that you want in your life and you don't have. What you always wanted to have or be, right? So as an example, I want to get rid of my cravings for sweets and finally lose weight. Sugar runs my life and I want to take back control. Whatever it is. So take the time, stop the video, pause the video rather, and do that now. Right. I'm actually dragging this here, and so I have it here. Right, so once you have this one, uncover your beliefs. Why do you believe you don't have it? The law of deservedness says that you only get what you unconsciously feel you deserve and nothing more. Just again, the law of deservedness says that you only get what you unconsciously feel you deserve and nothing more. If this is true, what beliefs are stopping you from having what you really want? Example, I don't believe I'm worth it. Continuing to eat sugar keeps me overweight and unhealthy, which I believe I deserve. Again, I give you some time to journal on this one. And of course, take the time, to pause it. I cannot pause it too often, otherwise we run out of time here, right? Right, next one. Notice the event or events that led you to this belief. What happened that led you to believe this? When is or was the first time you can remember feeling this way? It is typically between 0 and 8 years old. So describe that event in detail, including smiles, smells, sights, sounds, tastes, touch, where it was, who was there, and so on. And you might want, again, pause this video and maybe even do like a visualization. Close your eyes, do a meditation, take a couple of deep breaths, and just go back to that event and just observe, right, what comes up, and then after you can note down. So as an example, my mom was dating someone who didn't like kids. So she was always, kind of pushing that person away. I just see in my workbook that was cut. Okay, finding out that. Sorry for that. So she was kind of pushing me away, and she was kind of putting me in another room with sweets, right? So I believed that sweets are the one thing that love me, actually, right? And that's why I continue eating sweets. I don't actually, but I did, right? So kind of try and find out how that is. Go back and remember how you felt and then let go. So how did you feel when those things happened? As you recall these emotions, just know that you're safe, of course. It's always important. So what happened then isn't happening now. Allow yourself to be vulnerable and uncomfortable. This step is critical to healing. Once you recall the emotions, really the pure emotions, sadness, anger, whatever it is, breathe into them and then let them go. Stop pretending that it's okay. So that's really important, that you're there, and I call it face and embrace and let go. It's another exercise I do with my clients. I will not confuse you here, but very important, just to be there and breathe deeply and just face it, see what's happening, embrace it, just give it a hug, right? And then let go. So I felt like I wasn't important to my mom, that her boyfriend was more important than I was. I felt like I didn't matter. I felt that she was ashamed of me and that I wasn't good enough for her to take a stand for me. I felt alone and sad. So whatever comes up, again, pause the video, write it down. And then reconnect to your truth. How can you realize that even though you felt those emotions, that your beliefs aren't true, and reconnect to who you really are at your core and what you're really hungry for, what you're really craving, right? When you stop seeing yourself as defined by your limiting beliefs, you free yourself up to see yourself more authentically, as whom you've always been. Be open to remembering who you are, to discovering who you are. You did believe those old beliefs. Do you now? Right? So it's important that you keep those old beliefs as old beliefs. They are not serving you anymore now. You can let go and you can develop new beliefs, right? So I can believe that I was still am good enough, and still I am good enough, that I'm worthy of love and attention, that I don't need sweets to feel love or pleasure, that greatness, love, acceptance, and approval is my birthright, and so it's yours. I know that to be true. So write down what comes up for you. And then the last step in here is yield to forgiveness. Now that you understand why you have made the choices you've made in the past and you're ready to eat what you really crave, how can you forgive those who assisted you in creating those false beliefs? Let go of what happened and move forward. This is the first step in truly feeding yourself. Only when you can transform the original pain of our childhood experience can we be free. We don't have to approve of what someone did. We only have to forgive them. We don't know what they were going through, right? We don't know, let's say, our parents. They probably had their own upbringing, which influenced them. As an example, I know that my mom did the best she could. I realized that she was lonely and wanted a partner who gave her love and attention. I forgive her for not being the mom I needed her to be. And I forgive myself for holding on to the sadness for so long. And I want you also to share, what comes up there. Wow, this is now the main part that I want to go is really is to rewire your mindset, right? To let go of those limiting beliefs, whatever they are, right? We all have ours. So I highly recommend you to take some time, probably after this video, go a little bit deeper, do this exercise again, and please share that in the comments if you want to. I would love to hear. If you need help, if you want help, I am here for you. And of course, the speakers are there too. So all of them are specialized in some areas. You've heard the talks. I have coming up a workshop in a couple of weeks. I will send you an email about that, so look out. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into that one, or into overcoming cravings, emotional eating. So I will have a very interesting workshop coming up, so you want to look out. And if you're interested, I have a group coaching program that works all around these things and addresses literally my 5 R steps from my food freedom formula: recognizing the root cause, resetting the body's healing abilities, repairing the root cause, relearning healthy habits, and rewiring the mindset. So if you're interested in maybe joining it, it's going to come up. I'm starting a new group in a couple of weeks. There will be an early bird. If you're interested, just say I'm interested in the group coaching program in the comments. I will personally reach out to you and share the details with you. I'm about to put it together. We just have the summit now, and that's the next step. But if you need help in any way, please just let me know. I would love to hear back from you. And I want to thank you again, everybody, for being at my Food Freedom Festival. I hope it helped you to find out what are you really craving, and you found the answer in that, because that was my goal. Please also give me some comments or give me some feedback in the comments of the festival. What did you like most? What did you like least, right? Happy to learn. What was your takeaway? What was your favorite talk maybe? What are you going to implement or so? I would love to get some feedback, and I thank you so much for being here. And again, also to all the speakers, thank you for supporting the summit by promoting it and by speaking, of course, and sharing all your wisdom. And thanks so much to my team for making it possible. I'm Andrea Caprio, and I look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.